Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel Top Coin, where coins tell stories and small change can sometimes lead to big money. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because today, we're diving deep into a coin that could literally be sitting in your drawer, your piggy bank, or even hiding in your change jar. We're talking about the humble yet historic 1964 1-cent coin, the Lincoln penny. But don't be fooled by its small size or familiar face. This little coin might be worth thousands of dollars, and today, I'm going to show you exactly why. From its fascinating history to rare errors that make collectors go crazy, and the surprising market value today, get ready for a full journey into one of America's most iconic coins. So grab a magnifying glass, check your pockets, and let's find out if you're holding a hidden treasure. Let's start with the basics. The 1964 penny features the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln, America's 16th president, on the obverse, that's the front of the coin. The reverse side features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that began in 1959 and continued until 2008. The 1964 Lincoln cent was minted during a time of major historical and economic transition in the United States. Just think about it, the civil rights movement was gaining momentum, President Lyndon B. Johnson was in office, and America was entering the space race in full throttle. But while the world was changing rapidly, one thing remained consistent: the production of the Lincoln cent. In fact, 1964 was a massive year for the penny. More than 6.4 billion coins were struck between the Philadelphia and Denver mints. That's right, over 3.8 billion from Philadelphia and nearly 3 billion from Denver. That makes the 1964 penny one of the highest mintage years in the entire Lincoln series. But wait, if there are so many, how can it be rare or valuable? Well, keep watching, because that's where things get really interesting now. With so many 1964 pennies in circulation, you might assume they're all common and practically worthless. And yes, most of them are. But, and this is a big but, some versions of the 1964 penny can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Let's break down why. Point 1. Condition and grade. As with all coins, condition matters a lot. A 1964 penny in circulated condition might only be worth face value or a few cents to a collector. But if you have a coin that's in mint state, especially MS65 or higher, you're looking at a whole different ball game. Coins graded by PCGS or NGC that are virtually flawless, with original red coloring, we're talking that bright copper shine, can sell for $50 to $500, sometimes even more. Point 2. Full red versus red-brown copper coins like the 1964 penny naturally darken over time. Collectors categorize these coins based on color: red, road, the most valuable; bright coppery shine red-brown, RB, a mix of original luster and natural aging; brown, BN, darker, older look. A 1964 red Lincoln cent graded MS66 by PCGS once sold for over $2,000 at auction. That's a single penny turning into a small fortune. Point 3. Mint marks, Philadelphia versus Denver. 1964 pennies come with either no mint mark, Philadelphia, or a deed mint mark, Denver. While both are common, certain die variations and conditions make a big difference. But more than mint mark, it's about errors, and this is where the money is hiding. Some of the most valuable 1964 pennies are those with minting errors, and this is where you need to pay close attention. Point 1. Double die obverse, DDO. This is one of the most sought after errors. A double die obverse means the die used to strike the coin had a slight shift, causing doubled images. Look closely at the date 1964, the word liberty, and in God we trust. A strong double die can sell for hundreds to thousands depending on clarity and condition. Point 2. Double die reverse, DDR. Although more rare in 1964, some coins have doubling on the Lincoln Memorial or inscriptions like E pluribus unum. If you see clear doubling, you've got something special. Point 3. Off-center strikes. If your 1964 penny looks like it was stamped off-center, maybe part of Lincoln's head is missing or shifted, that's called an off-center strike. Depending on how dramatic the error is, this can range from $20 to over $250 in value. Point 4. Die cracks, cuds, and BIE errors. Look for cracks, chips, or unusual marks on the coin. One popular 1964 error is called the BIE error. That's when a small vertical line appears between the B and E in liberty, almost forming the word BIE. These are quirky collector favorites and can fetch $10 to $100 or more depending on the condition. So what's the market saying right now about 1964 pennies? Here's the general breakdown as of recent auctions and online listings are circulated. Common coins, worth 1 to 5 cents. Uncirculated red MS65 plus coins, $20 to $200. Rare errors, DDO, off-center, etc., $100 to $2,000 plus proof-like or specimen coins, extremely rare and can go for thousands if authenticated on platforms like eBay, Heritage Auctions, and PCGS auction records. There are regularly 1964 pennies selling for $1,000 plus, especially if they are high-grade, error-rich, or uniquely struck. Wondering if you might be holding one of these rare gems? Here's what to do: get a magnifying glass or jeweller's loupe, at least 10x magnification. Examine the date, especially for doubling. Look at the mint mark for variations or repunching. Inspect the lettering for cracks, chips, or the famous BIE error. Compare with professional grading images on PCGS or NGC websites. If you think you've got a winner, consider submitting it to a professional grading service. A certified grade can dramatically increase the value of your coin. The 1964 Lincoln cent is more than just a coin. It's a little piece of American history, struck during a time of cultural revolution, civil rights battles, and shifting world powers. And while most of them are worth just a cent, a few rare examples can change your day, your week, or even your bank account. So the next time you get change from the store or dig through your old coin jar, take a second look at those pennies. That plain-looking 1964 coin might just be your next big find. Remember, the world of coin collecting isn't just for professionals, it's for anyone with curiosity, a sharp eye, and a love for history. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing stories behind everyday coins. Got a coin you want us to investigate next? Drop it in the comments below, and hey, go check your change. You never know. That one little penny might just be worth more than you think. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most underrated yet potentially priceless coins in your pocket: change, the 1983 United States 1-cent coin, also known as the Lincoln Memorial Penny. It might look ordinary, maybe even a little worn out, maybe you've seen it 100 times before and never thought twice, but what if I told you that some of these coins are worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars? That's right. You might be holding a small treasure and not even know it. So buckle up, because this story is about to get very interesting. Intro music and animation. Let's start at the beginning. The year is 1983. Ronald Reagan is president. Michael Jackson's Thriller is topping the charts. The first mobile phones are just beginning to appear, but they look like bricks. And in the world of numismatics, that's the study of coins, something very subtle, yet incredibly significant, is happening. The United States Mint is producing the Lincoln Memorial Cent, featuring the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. At first glance, the 1983 penny looks just like the pennies made in the years before and after. But behind the scenes, there's a hidden twist, a detail that transforms some of these pennies from simple spare change into extremely valuable collectibles. But to understand why, we have to rewind the clock just one more year, to 1982. In 1982, the US Mint made a major change. For decades, pennies were made primarily from copper. But copper prices were rising, and it soon became more expensive to make the coin than the coin was actually worth. So halfway through 1982, the Mint switched from using 95% copper to a much cheaper alternative, a core of zinc with just a thin copper plating. This reduced the cost dramatically. But in the process, it also set the stage for one of the most famous coin mysteries of the 1980s. By 1983, all pennies were officially supposed to be made from this new zinc composition. But here's where things get crazy. In recent years, collectors and experts discovered something incredible. A very small number of 1983 pennies were somehow struck on the old copper planchets, a minting error that should have never happened. These pennies have the same design, the same date, and they look just like the rest, until you weigh them. That's the secret. A copper 1983 penny weighs around 3.11 grams, while a zinc penny weighs just 2.5 grams. It might seem like a small difference, but to coin collectors and investors, it's a massive deal. This error makes the copper 1983 penny an instant rarity. Only a few have been confirmed to exist, and their value? Hold on to your seat, because we're talking serious money. Let's talk numbers. In 2013, a 1983 copper penny was sold at auction for $23,500. That's not a typo. A single penny. $23,000. And that was over a decade ago. With inflation, rarity, and increased collector demand, experts believe the value could be even higher today. In recent years, verified examples of the 1983 copper cent have sold for $10,000 to $18,000, depending on condition, grading, and auction dynamics. High-grade examples, those in mint state condition, especially those professionally graded by PCGS or NGC, can fetch even more. Even if your penny isn't made from copper, other varieties of the 1983 penny are still worth more than face value. For example, 1983 pennies with major doubling errors, where the letters or numbers appear duplicated due to a die error, are also highly sought after. One of the most famous is the 1983 double die reverse, where the lettering on the back of the coin, like 1 cent or United States of America, appears clearly doubled. Depending on condition, these can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So the next time you're digging through change or emptying your piggy bank, pay close attention to those 1983 pennies. Weigh them. Examine them under a magnifier. Because you never know, that 1 cent coin could be your ticket to a small fortune. Now you're probably wondering, how can I tell if I have one of these rare pennies? Let's break it down and weigh it. The easiest and most reliable test is the weight. Use a precise digital scale that measures in grams. A copper 1983 penny should weigh approximately 3.11 grams. If it's closer to 2.5 grams, then it's a zinc penny, still collectible in some cases, but not the ultra-rare variety. Look for doubling. Examine the reverse of the coin under magnification. Look at the words 1 cent, United States of America, and E pluribus unum. If you notice clear doubling, like shadowed letters or overlapping lines, you might have a double die reverse. Check the condition. Coins that are in near perfect or uncirculated condition are much more valuable. Even if it's not a rare variety, a pristine 1983 penny could still be worth a few bucks to the right buyer. Get it graded. If you think you've got a rare penny, it's time to get it professionally authenticated and graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. A graded coin carries a much higher value and is more trusted in the collector market. You might be asking, why would someone pay thousands of dollars for a coin that's just 1 cent? Great question. In the world of numismatics, error coins are like rare paintings or limited edition baseball cards. They represent accidents, anomalies, quirks in the production process. And the rarer the error, the more collectors want it. There's a thrill in the hunt, the idea that a small mistake can make a coin priceless, and because the US Mint has such high standards, errors like the 1983 copper cent are incredibly rare. It's a mystery how these copper blanks got into the 1983 production line. Maybe they were leftovers from 1982, or maybe a mistake at one of the mint facilities. Either way, they slipped through the cracks, and now, they're worth their weight in gold. Or more, in this case. So what does this all mean for you? It means the next time you come across a 1983 penny, don't ignore it. Take a closer look. That tiny piece of change could be worth thousands. You could be holding a treasure, hiding in plain sight. Coin collecting isn't just for historians and hobbyists, it's for anyone who loves a good mystery, a hidden gem, or the thrill of discovery. And who knows? That little brown coin in your junk drawer could turn into a life-changing payday. Before we go, drop a comment below. Have you ever found a rare coin? Do you have a 1983 penny in your collection? Let's hear your stories, and don't forget, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell so you never miss another episode on rare and valuable coins. Thanks for watching, and remember, in the world of coins, sometimes the smallest details lead to the biggest treasures. If you've ever walked past a penny thinking it's worthless, you might want to think again. Because today, we're diving deep into the story behind the 1989 United States 1 cent coin, and let me tell you, you could be holding onto something far more valuable than just a single cent. Yes, that little copper-plated coin you probably ignored at the bottom of your drawer could be worth a lot of money, and I mean hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on a few key details. So grab your magnifying glass, get comfortable, and let's explore the fascinating history, possible errors, collector interest, and the current market value of the 1989 Lincoln cent. Trust me, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. Let's rewind the clock to 1989, a year full of iconic moments. The Berlin Wall came down, Nintendo was taking over the world, and in the United States, the Lincoln cent was being minted in the billions. But what made the 1989 penny stand out? Well, to understand that, we need to take a quick look at the background of the Lincoln cent itself. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature a real person, and not just any person, but one of the most respected presidents in American history. Since then, it has become a fixture of American coinage. By 1989, the design had seen some changes. On the obverse side, that's the front of the coin, you still had the classic image of Abraham Lincoln facing right, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse side still displayed the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparro, a motif that had been in place since 1959. But there's something else important about this year. The coins minted in 1989 were made primarily of copper-plated zinc, a change that had been introduced just a few years earlier in 1982 due to the rising cost of copper. This means that while the coin might look the same as older versions, the composition is very different, and that makes certain varieties and errors even more valuable to collectors. Now let's talk numbers. The US Mint produced a massive number of pennies in 1989. Over 7 billion coins were struck that year. Specifically at the Philadelphia Mint, they produced more than 7.26 billion coins. The Denver Mint pumped out around 5.34 billion pennies, and proof coins, the highly polished, collector-grade versions, were minted in San Francisco, with about 3 million produced. With numbers like that, you might think the 1989 penny isn't rare, and for the most part, you'd be right. Most 1989 pennies are common and worth just face value. But as always in the world of numismatics, there's a catch. Not all 1989 pennies were created equal, and certain varieties and errors can skyrocket the value into serious money. Here's where it gets exciting. While billions of these coins were made, only a tiny fraction had errors or unique characteristics, and these are the ones collectors will pay big bucks for. Let's go through some of the most valuable 1989 penny varieties and errors you should be looking for. Point 1. Double die obverse, DDO. A double die occurs when the coin is struck with a die that has been misaligned or shifted, creating a doubled image. This is especially noticeable on the date, the word liberty, or the phrase, "In God we trust." If you find a 1989 penny with clear doubling on the front of the coin, especially around the lettering or Lincoln's profile, it could be worth hundreds of dollars, or even more if in excellent condition. Point 2. Off-center strike. Some 1989 pennies were struck off-center, meaning the image is misaligned and part of it is missing. The more dramatic the misalignment, the higher the value, especially if the date is still visible. Off-center strikes can fetch anywhere from $25 to over $250, depending on the severity and condition. Point 3. BIE error. The BIE error is a small die break that occurs between the B and E in Liberty, making it look like there's a tiny letter, I, wedged in between. It's not super rare, but collectors love these little quirks. These errors can be worth anywhere from $5 to $30, sometimes more. Point 4. Wrong planchette error. This is a rare one, but if a 1989 penny was accidentally struck on a planchette meant for another coin, like a dime or foreign coin, it can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. These coins are highly prized and certified by professional grading services. Another major factor in determining value is the condition of the coin. Collectors use a grading scale to assess a coin's quality, from a poor all the way to mint state or even proof. Coins graded MS65 and above, meaning mint state and virtually flawless, are worth much more than heavily worn coins. If you have a 1989 penny that looks shiny, well preserved, and almost perfect, it might be time to get it graded. Third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate your coin and give it a grade that collectors trust, often increasing its value dramatically. So, let's talk about money. What is a 1989 1-cent coin really worth in 2025? For most circulated 1989 pennies, the value is still just 1 cent. But if your coin has no signs of wear, strong luster, and maybe even an error or rarity, here's what you could be looking at in standard MS65 grade penny, 10 cents to $21989 a D or 1989, P in MS67 or higher, $25 to $100 plus double die obverse. DDO $150 to $600 depending on clarity major off-center strike, $50 to $250 wrong planchette error, $500 to $3,000 or more proof coins in PR69 deep cameo, $15 to $40. These values fluctuate based on demand, coin auctions, and collector trends, and the market is hot for error coins right now. If you think you have a valuable 1989 penny, what should you do? First, don't clean it. Cleaning can destroy a coin's value. Second, try comparing your coin to high-resolution photos from reputable numismatic websites. If you believe you've got something special, consider submitting it to PCGS or NGC for grading. Once graded, you can sell your coin at coin shows, auctions, eBay, or collector forums. Many collectors are looking specifically for well-preserved or error 1989 pennies to complete their sets. So there you have it. The 1989 1-cent coin might seem ordinary at first glance, but it has a rich history and holds the potential to be worth much more than its face value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just curious about the change in your pocket, this coin proves that treasures can be found in the most unexpected places. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to learn about more coins that could make you rich. Leave a comment below if you've got a 1989 penny, or better yet, an error coin, and share your discovery with our amazing community. Until next time, keep hunting, keep collecting, and remember, every coin tells a story. Yours might just be worth a fortune. You might want to check your pockets, drawers, or old piggy banks, because today we're diving deep into the incredible story of the 1990 United States 1-cent coin. Its history, secrets, rare varieties, and shocking current market value will leave you absolutely stunned. So sit back, hit that like button, and subscribe if you're ready to become a coin detective. Let's explore one of the most unexpected treasures hiding in plain sight. To understand why the 1991 cent coin is so fascinating, we need to step back into the world of the early 1990s. The United States Mint was producing billions of pennies each year. But the 1990 coin came at a very interesting crossroads in numismatic history. In 1982, the US Mint made a major change in the composition of the penny. They switched from solid copper to a copper-plated zinc planchette. That means while the outside still looks copper, the inside is mostly zinc. This change was made to reduce production costs. By 1990, the new zinc-based composition had become standard. But within that year's massive mintage numbers, something happened, something rare, something valuable. The Philadelphia and Denver Mint struck over 7 billion pennies combined in 1990. That's a massive number, so you might be thinking, how could something so common be worth anything? Well, here's where the story takes a dramatic turn. Among all the 1990 pennies, there is one particular version that has stunned collectors and auction houses alike, the 1990 NOS LINCLON cent proof. Let's break that down. Proof coins are specially made coins struck using a unique process for collectors. They have a mirror-like surface and are not intended for circulation. Most proof coins are minted at the San Francisco Mint, and they usually have an S mint mark. But due to a minting error in 1990, some proof pennies were struck without the S mint mark. This mistake resulted in what we now call the 1990 NOS proof penny, one of the rarest and most sought-after modern coins in US history. Only a small number of these coins were ever found. And when they show up at auction, the results are jaw-dropping. In recent years, a 1990 NOS proof penny in pristine condition sold for over $20,000. Yes, you heard that right. $20,000 for a single penny. But that's not all. Depending on the grade, condition, and whether the coin has been certified by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC, these coins can bring between $5,000 and $25,000 or more. And now let's talk about how you can tell if you have a valuable 1990 penny. Because yes, most of them are only worth face value, but a few are absolute gold mines. Regular 1990 pennies will have either a D for Denver or no mint mark, which indicates Philadelphia. Proof coins should have an S for San Francisco. The rare and valuable version is the proof penny with no mint mark at all. If you find a proof penny with no S under the year, that's a huge red flag. In a good way. Proof coins have a mirror-like finish. The background is shiny, and the details are incredibly sharp. If you suspect you have a rare coin, do not clean it. Send it to a grading service. Certified coins get much higher prices at auction. Professional grading is the key to unlocking maximum value. Coins graded PR 69 or PR 70, almost perfect, fetch the highest bids. And trust me, buyers are willing to pay top dollar for certified, high-grade coins. Now, you might be wondering, what if I have a regular 1990 penny? Is it worth anything? In most cases, circulated 1990 pennies are only worth 1 cent. But there are exceptions: uncirculated rolls, coins in mint condition, and coins with errors or unusual features, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks, can be worth anywhere from a few dollars to a few hundred depending on the error. For example, a 1990 penny with a clear die crack might sell for $5 to $50. An off-center strike could bring $10 to $100 or more. A double die reverse or obverse is a major error and can command hundreds. Always check your coins carefully with a magnifying glass or coin loop. You never know what might be hiding in your spare change. Collectors around the world are obsessed with US pennies, especially those that have historical significance or minting mistakes. And the 1991 cent coin checks both boxes, especially the legendary no S proof. Even if you don't have a rare one, searching for it is part of the fun. It's a treasure hunt that could pay off big time. So what's the current market like for the 1990 penny in 2025, with coin collecting continuing to grow in popularity and online marketplaces like eBay and heritage auctions booming? Now is a great time to sell if you have a high-grade or rare error coin. Recent auction sales for 1990 no S proofs: PR $67, $7 500 PR $69, $15,000 plus PR 70, over $22,000 error coins and uncirculated examples are seeing rising demand, especially as new collectors enter the hobby. But prices also depend on timing. If you believe coin values will continue rising, you might choose to hold your coin and watch its value appreciate even more. So whether you're a seasoned collector, a curious treasure hunter, or just someone with a jar full of change, the 1990 penny is proof, pun intended, that small things can hold massive value. Your journey might start with one coin, but it could lead to a lifelong passion, or a huge payday. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the story of the 1991 cent coin, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another episode of Coin Secrets and Values. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you're going to start searching now. And remember, great treasures often come in small packages, even the size of a penny. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy collecting. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating story of a coin so small, yet so powerful, the humble 2004 United States 1 cent coin. That's right, just 1 penny, but hold on, because this isn't just any coin lying in your change jar. Some 2004 1 cent coins are worth a lot more than their face value. In fact, certain rare varieties from this year can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars in the coin collector market today. Yes, you heard that right. A simple coin you might overlook every day could be a hidden gem, a little copper treasure waiting to be discovered. So, sit back, relax, and make sure you watch this video all the way through, because by the end, you'll know exactly what to look for, how much these coins can be worth, and how to spot a fortune sitting right under your nose. Let's begin with a bit of historical context. The 2004 Lincoln 1 cent coin, often called the Lincoln penny, is part of a long-standing legacy that began all the way back in 1909. That was the year President Abraham Lincoln was first honored on a U.S. coin, and ever since then, his profile has proudly sat on the obverse, or front, of the penny. And now, 2004 falls within what's known as the Lincoln Memorial Series, which ran from 1959 to 2008. On the front of the coin, you'll see the familiar side portrait of President Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the back, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial in all its glory, a design by Frank Gasparro. But what makes the 2004 version of the penny interesting isn't just the design. It's the unique minting errors, variations, and other surprises that turn this common coin into something truly special. The 2004 penny was minted in 3 major locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia mint coins have no mint mark. The Denver mint coins have a small D just below the year. The San Francisco mint produced only proof coins, marked with an S. Altogether, billions of pennies were struck in 2004, over 3.8 billion in Philadelphia and nearly 3.5 billion in Denver. That's a lot of pennies. But among those billions, just a tiny handful of coins stand out as rare, valuable, and highly collectible, and that brings us to the real reason you're here. What makes the 2004 penny worth more than just 1 cent? Let's talk about errors and varieties, the most exciting part of coin collecting. These are the mistakes, flukes, and rare changes that happen during the minting process. And in the world of numismatics, that's the fancy word for coin collecting, these mistakes can make a coin go from worthless to priceless. Here are some of the most notable 2004 penny errors and varieties you need to know about. Double die errors, DDR and DDO. Some 2004 pennies have a doubled image on the date, the letters, or the Lincoln Memorial. These doubling errors, known as double die obverse, DDO, or double die reverse, DDR, can fetch significant amounts. If you look closely and see that the lettering or numbers look like they were stamped twice slightly off, you may be holding a valuable variety. Off-center strike, coins that were not struck properly and appear off-center can also be worth money. The more off-center the strike, up to around 50%, the more valuable the coin. Some 2004 pennies with 10% to 20% off-center strikes are selling for $20 to $50, and more extreme ones can go up to $100 or more. BIE error. The BIE error occurs when a small vertical die break appears between the B and the E in the word liberty on the obverse. This creates the illusion of a letter I, making it read BIE. This quirky mistake is beloved by collectors and can sell for $5 to $20, depending on condition. Clip planchet error. If part of the coin is missing due to a clip in the metal strip before minting, this clip planchet error makes the coin rare and highly desirable. Values range widely, from $10 to several $100s, depending on the severity and visual appeal of the error. Die cracks and cuds. These are raised lines or blobs of metal where the die used to strike the coin cracked or broke. Some 2004 pennies have dramatic die cracks or cuds that are especially collectible and can be valued between $15 and $100 or more. Of course, rarity isn't the only thing that determines a coin's value, condition is king. A heavily circulated 2004 penny, even with an error, won't fetch as much as one in mint state condition. Coin grading is usually done on the Sheldon scale, from 1 to 70. Coins graded MS60 to MS70, mint state, are considered uncirculated and are the most valuable. Proof coins from San Francisco, especially with deep cameo contrast, are also highly prized. An error-free 2004 penny in MS68 condition can sell for $50 to $150, while a high-grade error coin can go well beyond that, even into the thousands of dollars. Let's talk about what these coins are actually selling for in today's market. A 2004 double die reverse penny recently sold for $225 on an auction site. A 2004 off-center Lincoln cent with a 40% strike error sold for over $400. A high-grade proof 2004 Lincoln cent in PR70 DCAM sold for over $100. Even regular 2004 pennies in near-perfect condition can sell for $5 to $30 just because of their pristine appearance. And remember, prices fluctuate. The coin market is like any other, driven by supply, demand, collector interest, and new discoveries. If a new error is identified or gains attention, values can shoot up overnight. Now that you know what to look for, the big question is, how do you find one? Start by going through your change, old coin jars, or rolls of pennies from the bank. Search carefully with a magnifying glass or jeweller's loupe. Pay close attention to the lettering, date, mint mark, and edge of the coin. Once you think you have something, compare it to known error types online or consider sending it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC for professional evaluation. Getting your coin certified can significantly boost its value and trustworthiness on the market. You can sell your valuable 2004 pennies on eBay, Etsy, coin shows, local coin shops, online collector forums. So, there you have it, the full story of the 2004 United States 1 cent coin. A small coin with a big story, and in some cases, an even bigger price tag. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a total beginner, this is the perfect reminder to always check your change. You never know when you might stumble across a little copper coin that's worth its weight in gold. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into rare and valuable coins, and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to learn and earn. And hey, If you found a rare 2004 penny or have questions, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. Until next time, happy collecting, and may your next penny be a priceless one.